Hello, this is Susan Sharpe with Exit Realty Anchor South in Fort Walton Beach. I serve the panhandle of Florida from Pensacola to Panama City and up to the Alabama state line. I'm here with Andy Gagliano, who is a mortgage broker in Alabama, but he also is licensed in the state of Florida. So we just want to discuss issues that are pertinent to the real estate industry now. We're doing this on a weekly basis, so I hope you come back and view what we've got going on. This week, one of the things that I wanted to talk about was, just kind of items or I guess aspects of a home when you're actually looking at each homes and different things to take into consideration when you're searching for a home. Oftentimes people will start looking for a home and they're not really sure what they like. So taking some of these things into consideration before you start will give you a little bit of a heads up and will keep you from wasting your time in looking at properties that don't fit your vibe, your mojo or whatever, however you want to say it. I'm old, so probably use the wrong terms there, but these are certainly things to take into consideration. The first one being just an architectural style. Do you like ranch homes? Do you like craftsman style homes? Do you like mid-century modern? Just what style of home are you interested in? I personally live in a 1951 concrete block Florida cottage, one of the original cottages in Fort Walton Beach, and I love it. Again, it's concrete block. It's been here since 1951. The only thing I'm going to lose in a hurricane is my roof, and maybe not that because I've had it built up to code. But nonetheless, it would not be the style that everyone would choose. There are plenty of other options in this area, as well as most areas, for the type of home that you might find appealing.
Yeah. That
the next thing to consider is actually, once you've gotten past what you like from the exterior view of your home and the style that you're interested in is the interior layout. A lot of homes now have split bedrooms. So they've got the secondary bedrooms on the opposite side of the home from the primary bedrooms. And a lot of people with children are looking for that. They want to have kind of their quiet space on their side and let the children have their section of the home, which can include their bedrooms or a playroom. So the interior layout is important. Where is your kitchen? How is it positioned in relationship to the living room? Are you a big football family? Are you going to want to be able to see the TV and participate in some of the activities that are going on when football is on? Or are you someone who wants to be able to just kind of go into the kitchen and do your own thing and not have that external stimulus? One of the homes that we lived in, I was able to shut the doors to the kitchen, and it was kind of nice after supper once my husband was home from work and was able to interact and play with the kids in the living room and do all of that, where I could have some quiet time for myself in the kitchen, just taking care of things after supper. So there's things to take into consideration on your interior layout that can affect your lifestyle in different ways. And thinking about how that works for you or doesn't work for you is something that's very important.
yeah.
The next one is, natural light and views. Where are you planning to purchase your home? Do you have mountains nearby? Are you near the coast? Do you want to be able to see those from your home, or is that not something that is really important to you? And another item that's really become more important is natural light. Which direction do you face? Sometimes when you're in Florida, you don't want your main window to be on the south side of the house, because in the heat of the summer, you're going to bring in a lot of heat that is going to affect your utilities and how you enjoy your home. And a home with big windows in a part of the house that gets a lot of sunlight might not be the best option. On the other hand, maybe you're someone who's conscientious about utility bills and your use of electricity, and that natural light coming into your home is very important to you as you go about your business during the day. Typically in my office, in the daytime, I can work without having to turn on an overhead light. The natural light is enough for me, and I prefer it that way. but everybody is different. And so, your thoughts on natural light, views, and those items, are something definitely to take into consideration when you're looking at homes.
Yeah. Yeah.
The next item that I would consider would be finishes and materials. Sometimes people get very specific about what they want. Do you want a granite countertop? Do you want a quartz countertop? Are you okay with a laminate countertop as long as it looks good and is in good shape? Again, those are items to take into consideration. Do you want carpet? I don't want carpet. I have 3 dogs. Carpet would not be something that I would appreciate in my home. And a lot of people with pets, they don't want that. So thinking about how these items are going to affect your lifestyle again, and what's important to you in terms of maintaining your home, what the visual appeal is of the different finishes and materials, what their functionality is. Taking those things into consideration again is just something to think about before you start looking at a home. If some of those things aren't as important to you, you can oftentimes find a home that could be less expensive because they don't have all those expensive materials in them. Maybe you're someone who can take care of that, and you're a handyman, you're a DIYer, and you prefer to do that stuff on your own. Just thinking about that ahead of time and knowing what's important to you, again, just helps you choose your home and pick the right one for you. Lastly, really, and probably very important for most people, are the outdoor spaces. I have clients who are looking for an acre or more. I have clients who don't want hardly any backyard at all. So what are you looking to do on the outside of your home? Do you host big parties? Do you have a large family that's going to come over regularly? Do you like to just sit in front of a fire in your backyard and soak up the surroundings? Do you need a lot of visibility for nature and just surrounding yourself with light and trees and animals? I mean, what's important to you in that respect? Not to mention, do you have pets? Do you have small children? Are there places where they can enjoy being in your yard without fear of harm or safety concerns? It's a lot of people enjoy their outside time once they finally get to enjoy their outside time, and having it set up in a manner that is amenable to that is just, it's critical to them. I'm a bit of a homebody. I'd rather be in the house reading. The space is not as important to me, but to others, it may very well be. And, as always, when you're considering the style and functionality of a home, consider the resale value. We talked about it in another discussion about how important resale value is, a resale potential for your home. And even though something might not be important to you, it's going to be important potentially to someone down the road. And as an example, I would say, your interior layout and your finishes and materials, there are people who would be happy to remove every bathtub in the house and have walk-in showers. And that's great. That would probably work wonderfully for them. However, when they go to sell their home, it's highly recommended that there's at least one bathtub in the home for families with small children. If that's not there, that's probably a home that someone with small children will not consider. So, thinking about how you modify your home or how you make your home consistent with your lifestyle and your preferences. Think about how someone else might view that down the road. A home that I showed yesterday had stamped concrete floors. Gorgeous, beautiful floors. I loved them. But as a mom, when my children were little, the main thing that I would think about is, well, what's going to happen when one of them falls? They're going to smuck their head on a concrete floor that, while beautiful, could do more damage than carpet. So that home or that modification to that home might be something that does not sit well when it's time for you to sell the home in the future.
Yeah. Yeah. That's what happened to me when I was younger. I hit my head on the concrete floor a lot. I have two older brothers, so, you know, it was forced, but yeah.
Yeah, yeah, I understand that too.
You know, this is just, I mean, there's a wealth of information in what you just spoke about, Susan. And, you know, I'm reminded of a realtor that I work with who years ago had a listing that he could not get sold. He just was having such a difficult time selling this property. And all of the feedback he was getting from other realtors who would bring their buyers out to look at the home was, well, the house has no backyard. The
Yeah,
house has no backyard. There's no yard for my kids.
right.
So he came in my office one day and he said, I've got this house that I just can't sell. I'm thinking about rewriting the listing description and I want to run it past you.
Yeah,
I'm no real estate expert, but go ahead,
yeah.
throw it out there. I'm interested. You've intrigued me. The very first sentence is no backyard. Perfect home for someone who wants low maintenance, who would rather be at the lake or at the beach on the weekends.
Yeah.
He sold it that weekend.
Wow. Oh, that's funny. Oh,
And
interesting.
so, you know, it's just I look at homes for me,
Exactly.
but I'm not every buyer, you know, and some buyers want to be in the middle of all the activity and all the action and they don't care about the road noise. Me, I
Right.
like quiet. You know, I don't mind driving 10 minutes to the grocery store as long as I don't have it in my backyard and I've got trees and, you know, all that kind of stuff. And
Oh,
so, yeah, it's important to
right.
have that list of things that you want in a home. And, you know, you said this early on, you may have to compromise. You may not
Yep.
get all those things that you want in that home, but it's good to prioritize them and know what is most important to you
Yes.
and look for
Yeah.
those things. And
And most of what that I did just mention are, well, certainly the interior layout, architectural style, those aren't necessarily, well, they can be considered cosmetic type issues, certainly the finishes and materials, but you also need to take into consideration the structural integrity of the home, the
mhm,
mechanical systems that are in the home. That goes beyond just aesthetically what you're interested in a home and how secure your home is for you in your future and what potential costs there could be coming up when you get into that home. Mentioning that I live in a 1951 concrete block home, the structural integrity of a home on the coast in Florida is important.
yes,
I want my home to be here for another, I guess it's what, 75 years old at this point. I need to know that the structure of my home is something that's going to keep me and my family safe. And that for the mechanical systems, checking out the age of the roof, checking out the age of the HVAC system, checking on the age of the hot water heater. Those things are potentially big expenses for somebody when they purchase a home. And certainly at some point down the road, if you keep a home long enough, you're going to be faced with those expenses. But knowing what those things are and what their ages are while you're looking at homes is something that's very important to take into consideration when you're thinking about making an offer or not on that home. In Florida right now, insurance companies are so strict on roofs that you cannot get insurance on a roof that's 15 years old. You can't do it. So if you're
wow,
looking at a home that's a beautiful home, you love it, but the roof is 12 or 13 years old, that's a discussion that you need to have with your real estate agent so that they can address that with the agent of the person trying to sell the home. A roofing contractor will tell you they're putting a 35 to a 50-year shingle on your home, and that doesn't matter in the state of Florida. That's not what drives whether you need to replace your home or not. It's it's the insurance company. So, making sure that you've got everything in place to protect your family, your home, your finances. Uh, a lot of that has to do with the type, the style of your home, the finishes, your location, the structural integrity, and the mechanical systems. It's just a lot to take into consideration and a lot that most people don't think of when they're looking for a home.
yeah. You know, that's a very good point, and that's something that I cannot even imagine attempting to purchase a home in the state of Florida without a professional real estate agent to
Right.
help me through that process and to consider all those things. Because, you know, what we hear nationally about Florida is, oh, well, this insurance company is pulled out of the state, or this
Right.
insurance company is pulled out of the state. Insurance premiums are going up. Those are the headlines we hear, but we
Hmm.
don't hear things like what you just said about the roof. And
Right.
to think if I was buying a home without the guidance of a realtor,
Mhm.
and I might buy a home that does have that 13-year-old roof or 14-year-old roof, and then
Mhm.
2 years from now, I'm going to get a phone call from the insurance company saying, you've got to replace your roof or we're going to drop your coverage.
Yeah.
Ooh, I would not be happy because roofs are not
Right.
inexpensive. They are not
Right.
cheap.
And
So
I have nothing against a for sale by owner. I think if someone wants to try to sell their home on their own, that's great. There are not in place the same regulations for them that there are for professionals working in the real estate field. They should disclose these issues. They're not necessarily legally bound to. If you want to work with a for sale by owner, at least have your agent. Make sure you're working with a for sale by owner that will work with a buyer's agent so that they can ask those questions and make sure that the documents that are necessary by law for real estate professionals are included and followed throughout that purchase. Because it's just too important to your financial future.
that is such great advice. It really is. And, you know, one thing that I'll throw out there is something you and I spoke about in an earlier video is for those of you who are interested in looking, go ahead and have that conversation with your mortgage loan officer because
Mhm.
about what you can afford, because the last thing you want to do is go out and look at a house and fall in love with a house that's more than what you can afford to buy. And
Right.
so, you know, that those are things to have a conversation about. And also,
Mhm.
you know, what you talked about with the condition of the home. And some
Mhm.
people want to buy a home that they can put their own touches on and do
Mhm.
some fix up work to, but where are those funds going to come from to do that?
Exactly.
There are mortgage programs that will allow you to pull some money out
Mhm.
of the property to do that right up front.
Mhm.
But those are conversations to have with a mortgage loan officer and talk about those options that are available to you because again,
Right.
going out and buying a house today because you love it, you love the structure, you love the bones, you love the look of it, you love the location of it.
Mhm.
Yes, it needs $30,000 worth of work done to it. Don't worry about it. We'll take care of that over time. And that time never comes soon enough.
Exactly.
It just doesn't
Exactly.
come soon enough. So
Well, yes, and there are actually, and of course, I'm telling you this, you know this, but there are some home loan programs that you won't qualify for based on what needs to be done to the house. If there are things that say some wood needs to be replaced or something on the side of the house, there are loan programs that house won't qualify for. So knowing what you're qualified for, what type of loan program you're going to use is very important if you're thinking that you're going to purchase a fixer upper.
so true. That is so true. Susan, this has been outstanding. I've learned a lot.
Well,
And
good. I'm glad.
I consider myself to be a real estate, I'm not going to say expert, but a lover of real estate and someone
Mhm.
who studies it. And so for, you know, you've given me information for me to pick up on and use in the future. So thank you for that.
Awesome. Well, good.
Yeah,
I'm glad to hear that. I've really enjoyed sharing the information today. I think it's just critically important.
it is. It really is. So if someone wants to contact you about purchasing a home, how can they do that?
I can be reached at 850-974-4890 or Susan Sharpe Realtor at gmail.com. And there is an E at the end of Sharpe.
Wonderful. And if someone wants to speak to me about financing options in Florida or Alabama, I'd be glad to do that. And we can even talk about some of these financing options where you could possibly pull some money out and use that
Right.
for renovation as well. And my number is 205-979-4412. I'm at extension 1, and I'm available pretty much anytime. If you call me, you get voicemail, leave me a message, and I'll be glad to call you back. So
Right. That's awesome. Thank you, Andy.
thank you, Susan. I've enjoyed it. I'll look forward to seeing you next week.
Yes, sir.
All right. Goodbye.
Bye.